There, that seems to do it. Okay, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whoever and wherever you are. This is Coach Lee, and we're working on speech anxiety. And right now, I'm talking to my buddy Robbie from Texas. Say hello, Robbie.
What's going on?
And Robbie and I became acquainted in 2017, and at that time, he was in college, and he'd been stuttering since he was age 6, and he had therapy third grade through the ninth grade, but it was mainly about breathing and speaking slowly, which didn't solve his problem. So we started talking in 2017, and he did stop stuttering, and he stopped stuttering in late 2017, and then in 2018 he had a bad incident or two, and we Skyped a few more times, and so that was good. Then I didn't hear from him until March 2023, and the way to end stuttering is to stay doing basically everything we do until the habit dies. And I think your problem, until you really, not only does it die, but how do you know it dies? When you love to speak everywhere. And until you do, there's still an issue there. Now, we've improved our methods, Robbie, so much since I met you. When I first met you, I was working off this book right here, which is 220 pages. My magnum opus is 700 pages, How to Stop Stuttering and Love Speaking. And this is the Cliff Notes version of it, Stop Stuttering Short Course, 86 pages. These two books basically have our methods much better. Our methods are a great deal better than they were when I was coaching you, really every time. Even 2018, they've improved so much since then. If you went on YouTube and watched some of my latest sessions, you would get a feel for what we're doing. So I'm happy to try, and it's hard to squeeze into one session everything that one would like to say. But that's kind of an update on our program. So now let me just see if there's anything else in these notes. We talked a few times in 2023, and that seemed to help, but I'm not sure that you ever developed a speech plan that was really responsive to you in all pressure situations. Do you think you did? That's a yes or no, and then I'll ask you to give me a status report.
Yeah, I have one right now that has been pretty good for me.
Okay, and what is it?
So it's tone, link, increments.
First word?
Tone, link,
All right.
increments.
Good. All right. All
Yeah,
right.
it's been helped me. I've been pretty religious by it. So.
Okay, so now I'm going to ask you. You have reasons for Skyping me for an update. I appreciate that, and they're always welcome, and I'm always interested. What can you tell me, or what do you think you'd like to share with me right now, or with us?
So, just life update,
Okay.
Yeah, I've gotten a new job ever since we last talked.
If you want to talk about anything personal that has nothing to do with stuttering, I'll end this recording.
No.
Okay.
Nah, if it was just like a brief, right? I was just gonna say a thing or two, but no. Yeah, I mean, like, this is more about my speech. Yeah, so I began to attend the crush practice sessions more.
Good.
I think in May or April. I've been going to a handful every week, and I think that's made all the difference for me recently.
Good.
Yeah, I'm pretty popular in those sessions right now.
Good.
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to go to the SAM meetings because I work on Saturdays, but
That would you would enjoy that because you'd hear more people like yourself at all different stages, and that helps you. And then when you share with questions and comments your experiences, that helps other people as well. So it's a give and take community deal that works.
Yeah,
So
I've been a lot in the past. I just haven't in the past like 5 or 6 months. But those practice sessions I go to at least 2 to 3 every week, and
oh, that's great. I love hearing.
yeah, and that's been the game changer because as you said, like you see people at like all different levels, and
It's great.
and
Who have been hosting the ones you've been going to?
I've gone to all of them. What's his name?
Prathusia, Javier, Danny,
No,
John.
But I was gonna start with John from Scotland.
Yeah.
Like Danny's are always great. Like I've gotten close with Nick and Steve.
We got a couple of Nicks. Nick from Italy or Nick from Sweden or some such.
So Nick just moved to Greece. He was living in.
Oh, he did. Okay,
Yeah.
I know which one you mean.
Yeah. But I've gone to all of them except to Prestigia's. But I'm always going every week. So.
Good. I'm really glad to hear that because that's got to be helping. So do you feel, are you getting close to loving to speak everywhere?
Yeah.
Because I too love to speak everywhere. And I'm not kidding.
Yeah. I'm closer than I was the last time we spoke, which is
okay.
like leaps and bounds because I was still struggling the last time. But I just want to accredit the practice sessions because last year I was going a little bit to them, but I don't know. Like now I've been going like so much. I've been getting more opportunities to practice. I made a lot of friends, and
good.
And I'm engaged. I'm helping other people out.
Good. How are you doing talking to your boss? I know you used to have troubles with that, as I recall.
Yeah, so that's why like I kind of opened up at the beginning that like I got a new job.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm working at home now, and we have meetings every day. And, I at least have 2 to 3 meetings a day. So that's another thing that's helped me is just practicing talking in those meetings.
Online, virtual like this?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But yeah, I practice there too, and like no one really knows I have issues now, so that's good. But yeah, in my old company, they did know, but here, no. And I've been working with this company since late January, so things have been going.
Without naming the company, what kind of work is it?
They offer educational courses in healthcare, so they offer courses for like medical coding, medical billing, medical auditing.
Would you, having nothing to do with you and your speech, would you please email me the name of that company? And because I have a grandson that I think should know about it. He's just starting college and he's not really a student. He's a really nice kid, but he's not someone. He's not going to go to medical school or law school. And I was just talking to his father today about it, and I said, "You want to get him in something related to healthcare." And it sounds like this company that you're working for has courses that relate to that.
Yeah, yeah. As I mentioned, like they do a program for medical coding, medical billing, medical auditing. Like there's a whole bunch of.
This sounds really good to me.
Yeah, yeah. But I do their marketing, by the way, right? I'm in digital marketing. So
You're a digital marketer. Okay. All right. That's good to know. Working at home
yeah,
as a digital marketer.
and
I can barely spell digital, but that's fine.
and I just recently moved. I moved from Austin. Excuse me, I had a burp. So sorry. I moved from San Antonio, Texas, to Austin, Texas.
Okay.
Yeah, I just moved here last week.
I used to represent radio stations in both those cities. Don't ask me which ones because I don't remember anymore. Been a long time. I used to represent the city of Dallas. I represented Lone Star Steel Company at one time. Did a little work for Lyndon Johnson, some of his companies. So I spent a lot of time in Texas in my life, and as a visitor. Anyway, so this sounds very positive. So
Yeah,
you still do mind training on a daily basis.
I do it once, usually almost every day, not every day, and then I read at least half an hour a day. I mean, it's better than nothing, but I mean, I could always improve in those areas. But the big game changer has just been the crutch practice sessions.
Okay, I think this business the only thing that I would push you hard on is the mind training on updating your affirmations, making them as current and as helpful, as specifically related to your current issues, whatever they are, speech and non-speech, and no more than 10 of them, and working on that, doing 2 a day of those, and then during the day, drowning your negative thoughts. Everybody has negative thoughts, everyone. And they're very similar for people. Most guys your age will have most of the same thoughts you do from your culture. And that's true with all of us, all our lives. And they need to be resisted. And mind training is still the most important part of our program. And it's more important than eating. And I've got 13 grandchildren, and most of them are plus or minus your age somewhere. And I got them all doing mind training, almost all of them. And I really am a great believer in it. I wish I'd got my sons doing it. It just didn't occur to me. But here we are now. But I really think that will help you in your life tremendously. I mean, it'll change everything in your life, everything. And especially your speech, of course.
Yes.
But the thing about loving to speak, it's just wherever you have pressure, wherever you feel pressure, that's where you need to step it up and do more in that area, and tell yourself going in, I love to speak under pressure. I love to speak to my boss, or I love to do my virtual meetings every day. That kind of, because you do. And if you work on crutch 11, which is speaking like a king, that will help you elevate your speech. Your speech sounds very good, I might add. I don't recall your speech ever sounding quite as good as it does today.
Oh yeah. I'm on a high right now. I mean, I don't want to call it a high right now.
But you can stay there. And there's no reason. Speaking is like breathing.
Mm-hmm.
You have no responsibility for breathing, and you have no responsibility for picking words. And look, first base is not having bad incidents. Second base is not planning words. We don't plan any words. If you don't plan words, you will never stutter. It's letting you plan your thoughts. Oh, I'm going to talk about what we're going to have for lunch, or I'm going to tell them what I did to improve my swing, or whatever. Whatever it is you want to talk about, that's what you think about, not the words you're going to use to say it. Unless it's a speech, then you write it out, you polish it, and you read it or you memorize it. That's different. But a conversation, there's no word picking or planning at all. None. Zero. No. We all just babble. That's what fluency is. I'm babbling now. I'm just letting my thoughts out. And that's totally fluent. I'm talking too fast. I'm not using enough stops. I'm not being positively passionate enough. I'm not pronouncing well enough. But mainly it's too fast and I need more stops. So most of us do. But I can turn it on and I can do it.
Mm-hmm.
And you can too. And reading aloud, you keep hearing yourself speaking at your best. And that's what you want to train your mind to expect.
Mm-hmm.
Because you deserve it and you can get it.
Yeah, and at the same time, you're gaining knowledge. You know, it's always good reading, whether you're doing it aloud to yourself, an audiobook, you know, and expanding your brain, your knowledge.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. So, did you hear Sam talk?
I'll get there. No. Yep. I mean, that's why I'm talking to you. You know, like I want to expand my comfort zones. I just, you know, like I just need a couple weeks or something, or a, you know, a month.
Well, you know, I'm not saying do a Sam talk on Saturday. I mean, we're booked like into November.
Oh yeah. Yeah, but I haven't really been having incidents, but there are times where I do have like avoidances.
Where you have what?
Where I'll have like an avoidance.
Avoidance, okay, all right.
Yeah, and
even, you know, even non-stutterers do avoidance.
Yeah.
Because they're nervous. But that doesn't mean that you need to do it or that you should do it. I would say this, avoidance to me, I would always do it rather than have a bad incident. But
yeah,
I have no reason to ever use avoidance. And you don't really either anymore. You have your pressure speech plan, tone, link, what did you say? Tone, link, what? Stop?
Tone, link, increments.
Increments. I'll tell you that's a very good plan, because when you speak in short increments, as I am doing now, and link your words,
Mm-hmm.
it's impossible to stutter.
Yeah.
First word is the only chance, and I can always use crutch 4, make a sound, or insert another word. Well, Robbie is my name. Well, Lee is my coach, whatever. I can always insert a word or a sound. Robbie is my name. And I will never have a problem with the first word. Crutch 4 and 8 are the simplest crutches. And you will never wipe out on an individual word. And when you don't wipe out on an individual word, and when you speak in short increments, and when you know how to link, you'll never stutter. You'll never wipe out again as long as you live. And the more you do it, the sooner you won't need to think about any of those things. You will love to do it. We had a girl come to us at SAM named Fatimata from Africa somewhere, and she stuttered up a storm. And we got her going, and she is now a poster girl on Sam of slow, steady, controlled, positive speech. And she loves to give Sam talks. She's given about 3 of them already.
Yeah, but I've seen her talk a time or two.
Yeah, so you see, I mean, she was a nasty stutterer, you know. And no more, no more. Yeah. So, but the more you do this, the more you bury it.
Mm-hmm.
How much time in the average day do you think about your speech, would you say? I should say in a negative way,
How much time in a day in a negative way?
if any.
Maybe less than an hour.
Okay.
Maybe.
And when you have those thoughts, what usually are they?
Um, what do you mean?
When you have a negative thought about speech, what might it be?
Um, how can I? How can I not stutter? How can I? How or what crutch can I use to get out of this? How can I say this? I mean, like,
Okay, so
yeah.
you're thinking about something you want to say specifically?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Um, you know,
Yeah.
recently I've been working with very severe stuttering cases, and I have found that one of the fastest ways to break that pattern, to help them break the pattern, is to get them to think about saying them like they mean it. Can you say something to me, anything, right now, and say it like you really mean it? Can you say anything to me?
Lee, I love passion. I use it from time to time. It's actually helped me a lot. For real.
There you go. I'm going to say to you that if you will, that's a second speech plan.
Mm.
And if I call it mean it, I'm going to say it like I mean it. And I become an actor on the stage, and I don't hold back. I go the other direction. I jump in the pool and I get my body's completely submerged, and I'm going to talk like I really mean it. And that's one thing that I would urge you to do, to consider.
Mean it. Okay.
Urge a second speech plan, PSD, pressure speech plan.
Sure.
Just mean it. And if you went on a YouTube right now, you could find a couple of sessions that I've done with a guy named Ebros. His name is spelled Ibross.
Yeah, it's actually, yeah, I actually was with him today in the crutch practice session.
Great.
And he was actually telling me that the crutch that has helped him the most is passion. So
There you go.
yeah.
And I'm echoing that. And he is, if you watched his session that he did, that I did, I've only Skyped with him, 3 or 4 times. And if you watched like his first Skype, it was pathetic.
Oh no, yeah.
And he's now, he's at Sam, and he's talking like a magpie. He's excited, and he's really into it.
Yeah, good attitude.
You have to let go, Robbie, and let your brain do the work. It's like the breathing thing again. When you let go of your speech and let your brain do it, game, set, match. It's over.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to say, as the farther down the road you get, in a way, the simpler solutions become. because you have more and more confidence in yourself and your ability to handle the problem. You know you're not going to humiliate yourself again. You may make some mistakes. I make some mistakes. Everyone does, and I force a word once in a while. But I never do it enough that anybody thinks that I have a speech problem. And frankly, I don't do it for fear. I do it for the same reason people do. My mind wanders. I'm talking too fast or whatever. But if you make such a mistake based on a stuttering fear, it's meaningless unless it goes to the level of humiliating you. And it hasn't in a very, very long time. Isn't that true? You haven't humiliated yourself.
I haven't humiliated myself.
Exactly. And that is really the only thing that we cannot allow. We can allow mistakes because we're human beings and we're going to make them. And we in fact, Fatimata, somebody asked her a question when she gave her last SAM talk about when she makes a mistake, what does she do about it? And I loved her answer. She said, I forget about it. And that is the answer. That is what we want to do with our mistakes. I mean, we want to try our best in everything we do, but when we make mistakes, we want to just laugh at ourselves, laugh at life, forget about it, and move on. Dwelling on mistakes compounds the mistakes and expands the mistakes. So we don't want to do that. We want to forget about them, laugh at them, forget about them, and go on and just avoid humiliation. That's all we got to avoid. Now, you've used avoidance some. You said that. So we need to make a note of that. And avoidance is not a crime. And I do believe that most people that overcome stuttering on their own use a lot of avoidance. I'm not a big fan of avoidance, but I used it myself. And if I hadn't, I would probably still be stuttering. However, I know I have used it in decades, but I know that you should be using less avoidance. There should be close to zero avoidance now, and it should be zero, before long.
Yeah,
because there's no reason for it.
Yeah, I've been avoiding like less and less things, but there is still a couple common situations where I will do it every now and then, but I've gotten a lot better at not avoiding.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. Because unlike a lot of speech professionals, we don't say that all avoidance is bad, because it isn't. And if you use a little bit of it here and there, fine. But your goal is to eliminate all of it. Why? Because there's no reason for it. If you mean it, as an example, and let yourself mean it and really mean it when you speak, you'll never stutter, Robbie.
Mm-hmm.
You never will. Isn't it ironic that letting go completely is the very opposite of what you would have done before you ever met me? It's the last thing you would have done. And now it's your ticket to freedom.
Oh yeah. If I'm closer than I've ever been, and avoidance is just a last resort. But I only do that to protect myself every now and then.
Yeah. And what situations would you say avoidance becomes your greatest temptation? What situations?
Okay, you're gonna like this one. It's a little juicy, but so every time I have to introduce my dog to someone.
I gotta remember that. I gotta remember you telling me that.
Yeah, that's his name. It gets stuck.
Now I want you to What kind of dog do you have?
I got a Boston Terrier.
Okay, and what's his name?
Sunny. And
So,
mhm,
okay, it's an S word.
mhm.
Now, you know probably the easiest way to say Sunny, probably crutch 8. You remember what crutch 8 is?
Modulate.
Yeah, high, low, or low, high. Say after me, Sunny.
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 Either way.
Yeah.
You go up and down or down and up. You will never have a problem on Sunny again.
So, yeah, that's one. Another is if I'm with my girlfriend and we're going to a restaurant and we're putting her name down on the list. Like I get a little bit hesitant about like my phone number and my name there. But I mean, like once we get to the table, I'm totally golden. I don't have any problems. Right? It's just giving my name and my number to make the
Give
rest.
me your phone number.
Yeah.
Why do you have to give your phone number in a restaurant?
So say we're going in a busy hour and there's a wait and I gotta leave my number and then they will send me a text message once the table's ready.
Okay, so
But
okay.
but now we're kind of at the point where my girlfriend just kind of does it for me. Like she'll just do her number.
You're doing it. Oh, you're doing it over the phone. Is that what you're doing it?
No, but it's in person.
To the waiter or the person.
To the hostess, sure.
Oh, to the hostess. Okay.
But
Look, Robbie. There's one of the easy ways to say things like that is to use a physical prompt, and that is like a hand. My number is 441-735-2061. I just changed it. I was given my real number. But we're using my hand. 441, and I'm watching my hand. 441-735-2600. Give me your number doing that. Hold up your hand and do it this way.
956-929-0671.
Okay, get your hand closer to your face.
956
There you go.
929-06. Oh man, I gave my number.
You can use it like you got a pencil in your hand, like this. I got a pencil in my hand.
Yeah.
And I'm about to take it out, but I got a pencil in my hand. So I'm going 441-735. See my hand move? I got to think about this, Robbie. And as I think about my hand and the movement, it blocks the stutter. When you fill your mind, you can't stutter unless you hesitate, think a word, fear it, and force it. In this case, a number. But you got to hesitate, and you got to think it, you got to fear it, and you got to force it. And when you do this, you're thinking about your hand. I have another, I told you earlier, I'm working with a lot of very heavy, severe stuttering cases. That's what I'm kind of doing exclusively now. And
Good.
one of the things that any kind of natural movements that are planned block word planning, fearing, and forcing. So And one of the things I got your buddy Ebros to do is move around. I said, Ebros, move around, man. I got another guy, Javier from Mexico, and he sits like a statue like this. I said, what are you, a mannequin or what? I said, relax, buddy. You know, as somebody used to say to me, relax your crack. You know, take it easy. So let yourself have some movement. Oh, my number. I mean, don't be uptight. Oh, my number is, yeah, 441, blah, 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 blah. And, you know, throw a smile on top of it. Robbie. And when you go in there, go in thinking, I love to give my number. Oh, I hope she has my number. I remember a guy who stuttered so terribly. He was one of the first people I ever coached. His name was Jason. He lives in Kentucky. And he worked in a beer factory. And when they went to work, when they had a meeting once a week, staff meeting, and everybody was asked to introduce themselves. And of course, he couldn't do it. He had 12 years of therapy every single day in school. And when he finished the 12 years, they said, Jason, you just got to learn to live with it. Now, within about 3 months, Jason didn't stutter. And that was in 2016. And he's still not stuttering. And he says, you know, when I go to work now, and if they have a team meeting, if they don't ask us to introduce ourselves, I'm crushed. Said, I'm crushed. And the first time he had huge problems in restaurants ordering his food. And the first time he ordered his food without help, his whole family, his wife and his several children, all applauded. They were so happy for him. And of course, now he does it routinely, and he's never stuttered since. He said he's read I think it's my second or third edition 10 times. He said, I'll never stop reading that book. But look, this stuff is, when you look back at it, it's comical. There's nothing organically wrong with you. You know that. There's nothing genetically wrong, and it's not chronic. If it were, I would be stuttering, and Prathusha would be stuttering, and John would be stuttering. All these people would be stuttering, but we're not. But we're having a wonderful time. And I want you to go to these restaurants saying to yourself, I can't wait to give my phone number. You know, whatever the problem is, that's what you can't wait to do, because you have so much fun doing it. And the more you let yourself go, move around a little bit, have a sense of humor about yourself, because you're funny. I'm funny. Life is funny. Let's enjoy it. Let's laugh at ourselves and at our problems and solve what we can. And soon enough, life's over. So let's enjoy it every day. So I want you to use your hand up where your eyes can see it, you know, a little bit. You don't have to do it all the time, but I mean, it's one good tool. And let yourself move. You know, don't be stiff. Relax yourself. It's kind of like you're going after a ball in baseball. You're not stiff. You're relaxed. The ball's coming like a bullet, and you're relaxed. Most people be running for the hills, and you're standing there catching it or hitting it. We love that. That's what we do. You go to any baseball games?
I haven't been to any recently. No.
Well, that's too bad, because I'm sure I don't follow Major League Baseball anymore, because I've lived outside the United States now for 35 years. But I'm sure Dallas has a team, and probably Houston has a team, and I don't know. They probably have some great games going on there.
Oh yeah. I mean, the Astros are in Houston, and the Texas Rangers are in Dallas. I've been, but it's been a while.
You know, I used to love to go to the night games, double headers. I just, if I'm gonna take the trouble to go, I wanna see two games, you know? And so I'd go to a double header at night. And in the spring, the weather was great. And I just loved it to death. I used to go, the Washington Senators, they were always last. But I grew up with them, so, I loved them. Well, so what else, Robbie? What else can we talk about? I mean, can you mean it? Can you mean it? Can you use your hands? Can you let yourself move a little bit and talk to yourself some more about, I love to say my number. I love to say my dog's name.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, yeah.
Dog. My Boston Terrier.
Yeah. I mean, those are just a couple of situations that are common avoidances for me, but
you don't have to be. They don't have to be.
Oh, yeah, no, yeah. I know that I have it in me. Like I'm sure that you've seen the improvement in me, and
oh yes, I have.
So.
But of course, naturally, I don't consider myself having won until you win. I can't win unless you win.
I'm winning. I just need
to. Huh? That's what counts.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad you gave me this update. It's very helpful. And come to Sam when you can. It's fun. A Sam talk, some people just read their Stop Stuttering stories. But other people give talks this long, and some people.
Oh yeah. So I think I'll be ready for a Sam talk by the end of the year, maybe sooner. But yep, I just need to fill in these last blanks, and like I just need to overcome these little things I'm avoiding, and then boom, bingo, man.
How do you do with reading aloud to me? How would you do with reading aloud to me?
I'm great at reading aloud.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me give you something quick to
sure
read aloud to me.
Yeah, and I haven't been speaking that loud because my girlfriend's in the other room. So I'm just trying to, sound like a crazy person.
I just got an email this week from a girl who's worried about saying her wedding vows. And I can remember saying my own, and I was very nervous about it. And the way I got through it at that time was, because I was still stuttering then, was whispering. I whispered them. And it worked. It worked quite well. I'm not recommending that. I'm just telling you what I did. Okay, this is just a paragraph at the beginning of my reading aloud document, but it can be read with feeling. Let's see how much you can mean it, how much you can read it like you mean what you're saying in a positive way. No anger, no negative thinking. We don't do that. We polish it up and make it positive, because when we're negative, we go downhill and we take things with us and people with us. When we're positive, we do the reverse. So, okay. So reading aloud, show me how much you mean it.
Okay, well, I can't go as crazy as I want because it can't be that loud right now. But
okay.
But
even if you talk in a soft voice,
okay,
you can still say it like you mean.
Sure, yeah, but I'm just gonna keep the volume modest. But
okay.
Reading aloud has become a true joy for me. I seize any excuse to do it, especially to read aloud to others. Perhaps I'm a thespian at heart. Regardless, I love it. I love doing it. And no surprise, it continues to improve my speech because when we read aloud, we invariably hear our voice at its best. As we read aloud with feeling, we constantly improve our focus on our message and the positive emotions with which we deliver it.
Very, very good. The only suggestion I could make is a little bit slower.
Sure.
A little bit slower. I think you guys, your generation, talks way too fast, and it's the way you guys do it, and it's hard to understand for people. And it's hard to. I know you were trying to slow down then, and you did slow down over your normal speech speed, but it still would be even better if you slowed it down a bit more. Let me just show you. Reading aloud, and I'll exaggerate it just a little bit. Reading aloud has become a true joy for me. I seize any excuse to do it, especially to read aloud to others. Perhaps I am a thespian at heart. Regardless, I love doing it. And no surprise, it continues to improve my speech. Because when we read aloud, we invariably hear our voice at its best. As we read aloud with feeling, we constantly improve our focus on our message and the positive emotions with which we deliver it. A little bit slower than you and a little bit more pronunciation, not much. I'm not, but I think you did it extremely well. But I would say, even as well as you did it, a little bit slower,
Sure.
and you'll be a little bit better.
Yeah.
There's no hurry. When you're speaking, it's the same thing. Even if you're giving your phone number, 441-735. I'm moving my head now instead of my hand. 2600. You know. What?
Oh, yeah.
I want you to meet my dog.
Mean it. Yes.
And Sunny.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Read it. Forget yourself. Be the message. Your brain does all the work. It's the same as breathing. You don't have your brain, you have no responsibility to plan any word that comes out of your mouth. None. You plan your motives, your goals. You don't use four-letter words. You're not profane. You're not rude. You're not mean. Blah, 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 blah. But when it comes to the choice of the words, you have no responsibility whatsoever. None. Any more than you tell yourself when to breathe right now or ever. You do not tell yourself what words. No. No, 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 no. You express feelings. That's your job. And to smile, to spread the joy as best you can. When you do that, you make yourself happier and everybody else happier. And life is better.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, but I think a couple of my next my next goals I want to do is I want to start to try to come to the SAM meetings and just ask questions because last year, I would go to the SAM meetings and I was always scared to ask a question, but now I think I'm at the point where I'm able to participate a little more. Going to the crush practice sessions has really, it has opened me up. It has gotten me more engaged, and I want to contribute as much as I can. And even one day, I'll even host my own practice session. So
I love that.
yeah.
Can you remember? I can't remember. Of course, it's been too long. But and you may not be able to. Can you remember the last time that you absolutely humiliated yourself with your speech?
Humiliated. It was around the time that we started talking last year.
Okay.
That was the biggest humiliation moment. Right. I've had a couple of like smaller ones in between, but the humiliation moment was at my old job. I was asked to explain something to a couple of my coworkers and my managers, and it was important, and I was getting stuck a lot, and they kept on interrupting me, trying to complete my sentences, and
that's humiliating.
Yeah, and I wasn't able to get my message across.
Right.
And,
that's definitely humiliating.
And they just assumed that I meant like something entirely different. And one, it kind of it kind of made me seem like I didn't know what I was talking about, and I actually did. And then right after that, I started to get pretty frustrated while I was talking to them, and I just walked out of the room, and I went to my office and I started to cry because I was so frustrated, and they heard me crying, and they came in saying, hey Robbie, it's okay, but that was my breaking point, and that's when I called you shortly after. I was like, man, I can't beat this guy, man. I don't want to do this.
that was over a year ago. That was almost a year and a half ago when you called me. I know when it was. It was February 2. I got it in my notes here.
Yeah, it was around there. It was
So February 2. We're now in July of the next year. Mm-hmm. So it's been over a year. It's been 17 months or something like that. But I guess what troubles me about your case is that, and I take responsibility for it. When you came to me, that I don't know what I was doing was resonating more with different kinds of stuttering than yours. And there are different kinds of stuttering and different patterns and different, the same methods. We have a bunch of tools, and some tools appeal to one person and different tools appeal to another. And I wasn't sensitive enough. I didn't pick up enough on what you needed. And so you've been a lingerer. And Robbie, one of the things that bothers me is not about you, but about stuttering, is like some people criticize us, me, and the people that work with me trying to help people like Patricia and all. They criticize us and they say we're charlatans and that we're liars and that we're scammers and all that stuff. I don't take money from anybody, as you know, and I put a couple of $1 million in this program, as a matter of fact. And some of our coaches get paid $30 a session or something. I don't know exactly, but some of them don't. Some do, some don't. I don't. But the fact of the matter is, they still call us charlatans and liars. And I've had one guy write me, he's a speech language pathologist, and he said, "You've never helped anybody stop stuttering, not one person ever." And I said, "Well," he wrote me this, and I said, "Well, you know, if you'll come look at our success stories, our stop stuttering stories, or if you'll watch some of our videos, you'll see that isn't true. But your case has taken too long, and for you, and therefore for me, and it bugs me, and it makes me irritated and upset." And
well, not I wouldn't be regarding yourself. Like a lot of it. I mean, like I knew you back in 2018, and
17.
yeah, and I thought that I had stopped, but I didn't learn how to love to speak, and also I was a little bit immature at the time. I had things I was going through. I mean, all of us do, of course, but yeah, it was also like a maturity thing, like a work ethic thing, and and uh, and as I've gotten older, like I've improved in a lot of those areas, and yeah, I took a break for a while. There was times where my speech was good. There was times, where it was bad.
That's what this guy, the speech language pathologist, said. He said, the problem with you, meaning me, is that he said, you give people hope. And he said, and then they always eventually return to stuttering, and they suffer even more because of you. And I said, that's not true. But there are cases that linger longer and that have a tendency to relapse. And but I can't heal anybody stuttering. I never have, I never will. All I can do is say, this is what I would do in your shoes. And I believe it would work for me if I were in your shoes. And if you do it, I think it'll work for you. And I do find that in most cases, we get over this thing in 2 to 3 months. The fear may be there for a year or two or whatever, but fear is not stuttering. Once you can say any individual word, your dog's name, my name, your name, I don't care what it is, once you can do that, and once you can carry a conversation, increments, link, once you can do that, you're never going to humiliate yourself again. Never. You're not going to do it. So you're going to live a different life. I say my people, whom you are one, live seamlessly in the fluent world. That's what I say. Am I a liar?
No. But
I don't think I am.
no. But no, Lee, I did mention this at the beginning of the call. One of the biggest game-changing elements for me is just the practice sessions. Just practicing, just putting myself out there, just meeting others, just helping others. That's been, that was the element that I feel I was missing. Like back then, like last year, you were telling me to go to the practice sessions, and like it was either like a time constraint that I couldn't, or I was scared, and and I did not attend as many as I should have, and that's been the biggest thing for me. Just
great. Well, listen,
I want to keep going to them.
I just want you to find peace, and I know you can, and joy with your speech, because I found it. And you never wiped out any worse than I did at my worst, I'll tell you that.
Yeah. Nap, I've known you for a while, and I'm still here for a reason, and I think that's a sign. I want to stick around. I don't want to. I mean, I've already gone down the path when I stopped the program, and that wasn't a good one for me. It prolonged my process. So
yeah.
you know.
Well, I would say that making, the more you immerse yourself in your own fluency, the easier it will be to relax and be fluent under any circumstance. And how do you do that? Reading aloud, certainly. Recording your voice, doing your affirmations in a animated voice and playing it in your idle time. Recording it in a monotone and playing it softly when you sleep. Also, practice sessions for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Coming to SAM meetings and putting yourself, whatever you consider pressure to be, it's, here's your speech ladder. At the very top, let's say the worst thing for you, let's just say it is, would be addressing an audience of 1,000 people with TV cameras going on. That would be my nightmare when I was young, when I was in my 20s. That was my nightmare. That was the ultimate top of my ladder. Everything else, I never stuttered at home. My family never heard me stutter. They said, you're a liar, you don't stutter. I said, yes, I do, I just don't stutter here. So, but I work my way up the ladder. And what I'm saying to you is, whether it's saying your dog's name or talking to your boss or whatever it is, practice sessions, whatever, wherever you have issues, that's where you want to be. And you're learning to swim. You need to be in the pool and you need to be practicing your strokes up and back. So that's it. And it's fun. And look at it as fun. I'm having fun speaking. It's wonderful. I love every second of it. And I'm not doing anything that Robbie can't do. Nothing. I'm simply letting go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna do what I can to make it on Saturdays and start, expanding my comfort zones, expanding the ladder.
And will you mean it when you start talking and throw yourself into it? Let yourself move around a little bit and let your hands move a little bit and have a good time. Be a little bit over the top. Oh, Robbie, he's over the top, but he's interesting. He's not boring, I'll tell you that.
No, I'm not boring, trust me.
So mean it, okay? Can we add that to your regimen? Mean it?
Yep, I already made a note. So
okay.
I have a sticky note that has it on here.
I'm going to be looking to see you at SAM and wherever. And I'm here for the moment and hopefully for a long time. Who knows? We'll see. But meanwhile, we're on your team and we're pulling for you. And we're not doing anything you can't do, Robbie. Never think we are, because we're not.
Of course. But no, maybe we can catch up again in like another month or two or something.
You just email me.
Okay, sounds good.
Take care of yourself, man.
Likewise, my good friend.
All the best.